So, I want you to take one thing in your life or business or personal life or what have you and ask, if I were starting fresh, how would I build it now? And then do that. Or at the very least, don't even do it, just write it down. Write down what a new habit would look like, what a changed habit would look like, what a new career would look like, what a new house would look like, what a new workout routine would look like. What it would look like to start fresh, because tiny chaos beats polished dysfunction every single time. Welcome to DFW Grit. I'm Dr. James Taylor, and I'm your host, and this is more than just a podcast. We dive into the stories of the movers, the shakers, the small business owners, the entrepreneurs, right here in the DFW Metroplex. This is your home for authentic, real stories that prove what happens when you don't back down. Let's get to work. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dr. Taylor, welcome to another episode of DFW Grit. As always, I'm still your host. So I want to set the stage for you, right? You've got you've got your life. Everything is everything's cool. You're grinding. You're going at it. You know, things are trending generally upward for, I don't know, hypothetically, let's say 7 years, right? Little bumps and pitfalls, potholes in the road here and there, but generally speaking, you're doing well. Things are going in the correct trajectory. There it is. Those are words. Going in the right direction. And then you're forced to change. That's what I have recently gone through. So whether it's changing something that was familiar, whether it's changing something that you've done, or just changing the way that things have been done, every now and then, those, I'll call them big changes, because they're a change in tenure is a big change, right? So I recently had to let go of my office manager of 7 years, and it was wild. It was one of the more easy departures that I've ever had. I don't like to fire people. Shoot, I didn't like to break up with. I think I might have only. I don't know that I've ever dumped a person. Like in the dating realm, I don't think I've ever dumped anyone. I've always been broken up with. And firing people, letting people go, dismissing people is never been an easy thing. Save for this one. It was, and again, I say that with as much love as I can after a 7-year relationship, but the time since then has been has been awesome. So what I want to talk about today are those situations in life where a change has to be made, and not only that, but a familiar thing has to be let go or replaced or something like that. So like I said, after 7 years, I had to let go of the ops manager, and in in doing that, well, what are we doing? We're not rebuilding in any way, shape, or form. But what we are doing is we are fine tuning. We are honing so many more of our processes and procedures, because, like, instead of freaking out, I saw this as an opportunity, not to start over per se, but as to start fresh. So there's a danger in this. Only I know how to do it. Only they know how to do it. Or God forbid, this is the way it's always been done. That comfortability, that complacency in this is how it's always been done. That, I'll tell you what, that'll come back and bite you in the ass. I mean, you could find things like we've found so many just hidden inefficiencies, workarounds that kind of became normal, and not just stuff that she was doing, but stuff that I was doing. Like I've talked many times on here about standards and, operating procedures and things like that, and whether it be here in the office or just in your life in general. And I've done a previous episode. Check out the episode on the creep. What is creep? Creep is, let's just call them bad habits that slowly entrench themselves in your day-to-day routine, right? It's easiest example, it's missing a workout. And then the next one, and the next one. I told a patient once, yeah, no, I took a break from the gym once. I took a week off, and that week lasted me 6 months. So it's those kind of things. It's the creep. It's the little things that never really got questioned because this is just how we've always done it. And in all reality, it wasn't how we've always done it. We used to do it a different way entirely. But then this situation came up, and then that situation came up. And these little inefficiencies, these inequalities, and these inequities slowly creeped into our day to day procedure. And now that, let's just call it, the head of those inequities is gone, they're all coming to the surface. And I mean, you can do one of two things. You could freak the fuck out. Holy shit! Like this is how this has been done, or like hell yeah, this is how this was done. And again, I'm obviously talking about it in terms of the office here, but this is something that's easily applicable to everything we do all the time, day to day basis kind of stuff. So you don't realize how much you've been tolerating until it's gone, and you're like, wait, why are we doing it that way? Why am I doing X, Y, Z this particular way? When if I sit down and think about it, I used to do it the right way, and that's not anymore. Now, why is that? It's simply because of the creep. It's the stuff that just that just crept in, that just poked its head out just a little bit, and you're like, yeah, that'll work today. And then it happened again. Yeah, that'll work today. And then that just became the norm. So, like I said, this is an opportunity not for us to start over, but for us to start fresh here in the office, fresh with how things are done, fresh with how things are supposed to be done. Hell, in a lot of cases, fresh with how things used to be done when they were done the right way. I mean, this is starting over is reactive when you come to think about it. We got to start this whole thing over. We've lost 7 years. No, we haven't. That's a reactive thought process. This is starting fresh. This is intentional. Hey, let's dig into this stuff. Let's find out these things that just either aren't working or are working oddly, less efficient, less effective than they could be or need to be. A fresh start is a start with intention. So, like, we didn't, in any way, shape, or form, we didn't burn the place down because we're keeping all the good stuff we've been doing. In no way, shape, or form are we just torching the whole thing. Because I mean, obviously, the stuff we've been doing has been working. But shit, what if it could actually work better if we are doing bits and pieces of it the right way? And we rebuilt this whole thing with clarity. So like you can be afraid to wipe your whiteboard off. You totally can. I mean, I know if you're a whiteboard person, I am. I got 2 walls of them in my home with just scribbles and diagrams and things like that. Just stuff. My home office is a command center, right? And it's just got these whiteboards all over the walls where I jot down ideas and I jot down processes and how I want things to work, whether it be in the office or in my life. So like you can be afraid to wipe that kind of stuff down because that's not failure, it's evolution. Even if you just got like a what do they call them? Like a spider mind map kind of thing. You don't have to wipe the whole thing away. You can wipe out that little thought bubble there and that little thought bubble there, redraw the paths. So that's not failure in any way, shape, or form. That's refinement, if it's anything. I mean, and this goes for fitness, this goes for relationships, this goes for parenting, all this kind of stuff. Because we've let these little things creep in to our lives in every way, shape, or form. How many of you are riding with your check oil light on right now or your check engine light on right now? So sometimes the best gains come after a breakup. They come after a layoff. They come after a breakdown. These are all signs that something's wrong. And I was lucky enough to have the sign that something was wrong present itself to me. I didn't have to find it the hard way per se. So rebuilding systems, when you get the chance, and man, I'm not gonna lie, I hope you do. I hope the chance presents itself easily to you. But when you get the chance to rebuild your systems in business, in life, and otherwise, take it as an opportunity to also rebuild the vibe. Because that is one thing that has changed tremendously here in the office. So, we're documenting all of our stuff. Not that we haven't, but we're documenting the changes we're making to it and how we're doing it. We're doing it step by step. So, one, we've got it all on paper. We can refer back to it. But then as this thing grows, the next person isn't guessing. There's a place, there's a process, and there's peace in that whole thing because shit, let's face it, there is absolute freedom in clarity. This is how things are done. This is how we know what the next step is. Now, going back to the vibe, on the outside, like I doubt any one of you wants to have to go through this. I'm sure many of you need to, but I doubt anyone wants to. But the vibe in the office here as we're going through this, as we're making these changes, is amazing. It is fantastic because I'm not the only one questioning why did we do it this way? Because we've talked in past episodes too about that. Like sometimes just from the managerial standpoint, from the boss standpoint, sometimes I personally have a hard time with, hey, we're going to do it this way because I said so. Because I'm the boss, I'm the guy. My name's on the bottom line. But the fact that everybody else is also kind of questioning the same thing, why did we do it that way? And sometimes the answer is, I don't know. Sometimes the answer, it gives me a chance to actually communicate with them. Well, we do it this way because this is the outcome we're expecting. This is the stuff we're putting into it. And this is where this whole process and procedure is going. And then they get it. Because before, they might not have known the why. If you know the why, then you know all the why nots also. Then the way makes so much more sense. So like I said, the vibe in the office is different, man. And seriously, it's better than ever. We're working hard. We're figuring stuff out, but we're also collaborating with this. We're working hard on all these things. And the best part about this whole stuff is we're collaborating and going through it. They, in some sense, they get an ownership in this whole thing. They get the opportunity to, like I said, know the why. They get they get an opportunity to give their input. Like, okay, like I do this stuff day to day. Why don't we do it this way? Why don't we try this? Because I'm the one going after it. And in my day to day routine, I think if we did it this way, that'd be better. And it, like I said, it adds this collaboration aspect to it. It adds this sense of ownership, the sense of belonging, the sense of buy in. And what does that do? That changes the entire vibe of the office. It changes the whole culture. It brings everyone closer together. It brings everyone tighter because like systems will build your structure. There's no question about that. But the vibes in the office, those things will build the culture. So now what does this mean for outside of the office? It's a little stressful. There's still things like, okay, well, I got to make sure this is done. I got to make sure this is checked on. We have to go over these procedures and things like that. But I mean, how much of this kind of stuff that I'm going through right now can I actually apply to the stuff I'm doing outside of the office as well? How much of the stuff can you apply to the stuff you've got going outside of your office in your life? How many areas in your life have been kind of duct taped together to make them kind of work? Because that's what we're finding. Like there are processes that I mean they've been working, so we kept doing them, but they could be working better. Where have you settled for? This is just how it's done. Is it in your marriage? Is it in your health? Is it in your diet? Hell, is it in your path to work? I just go this way because this is the way I go. Is there a better way? There's road construction out there all the time. Something might have changed. So you don't have to destroy your life to rebuild parts of it. You just need to pause and ask, is this still serving me? I find no bit of coincidence whatsoever in the fact that I semi recently did a podcast on halftime adjustments. And then a multitude of rather large halftime adjustments were presented to me. And I'll tell you what, I took them. Whether it be January 1st or July 1st, one of those halftime adjustments is cutting your bottom 10%. Take the 10% of the least serving things you have and get rid of them. And man, if you're lucky like I was, that bottom 10% will present itself to you. You don't even have to look for it. So, with all that being said, this isn't the end of something. This is the sharpening of something. And when you look at it like that, it's a whole lot easier. So if you've been scared to make a change because it feels like starting over. Don't be. Because you don't have to change the whole thing. You just have to change the parts that aren't working. You're not starting over, you're starting fresh. And starting fresh is delightful. It truly is. So, I want you to take one thing in your life or business or personal life or what have you and ask, if I were starting fresh, how would I build it now? And then do that. Or at the very least, don't even do it, just write it down. Write down what a new habit would look like, what a changed habit would look like, what a new career would look like, what a new house would look like, what a new workout routine would look like. What it would look like to start fresh, because tiny chaos beats polished dysfunction every single time. And again, it starts with getting rid of that bottom 10%. And if it's already presented itself to you, take it up on its offer. Get rid of it. So, as always, you guys, you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. And also, please like, share, follow, all that stuff. And I'll catch you on the next episode of DFW Grit. We'll see y'all later.